The GBPUSD has been quite impressive since the beginning of the week, though we had some bullish momentum. Actually, remember we had this situation here at the beginning of the week where price action was trading within the 1.22500 level, which happened to be the resistance point at the beginning of the week, and we had a support line for the week sitting at around the 1.22300 level. And we know what we look out for. Obviously, very simple setup. We want price to break out or break down the structure for a trading opportunity, but instead this week what happened was a breakout retest of that structure to give us that leverage to buy the GBPUSD at the beginning of the week. So we bought the GBPUSD and we added more position at the breakout of the structure at the 1.22800 level, and at that point we had price action move about. For the first position, price action moved about 75 pips in our favor, and the second position we saw our price moved about 50 pips in our favor before this bearish momentum happened. And during the morning live session yesterday, I told us all that we want to be looking forward to selling opportunities below the 1.22100 level here. And the reason why I said this was because of the strong selling niche at around the 1.2350 level. And if you look at what happened during the course of last week's trading session here, you saw how sellers negated all attempt by the buyers to break out of that structure. And the same thing has been happening so far. And I told us all yesterday that as long as price remain below the structure, we want to be thinking of selling the GBPUSD. Now, the same thing also happened here during the early hours, later part of the New York session yesterday. We saw selling pressure around that area. So we saw price action break down that structure here during the New York session yesterday, and you must have taken advantage of that opportunity, but unfortunately we were taken out of that position in a loss as price action takes us out at our stop loss here. And I told us all yesterday that I wouldn't be thinking of buying the GBPUSD unless we see price action take out the sell position here at the 1.23500 level. And the only thing we are going to be doing to buy is to see price action take out that structure. Of course, in such a way that we have a breakout of that structure and buy pressure resumes probably around this area to incite another wave of bullish momentum. But if you look at what has been happening here in the last couple of hours, we can see we have some buy pressure which resumed around the 1.22100 level, just right along the bullish trend line that has been supporting this bullish momentum since the later part of last week's trading session. And look at what we did here at the beginning of the week. We connected a series of higher lows in this market, hereby giving us this bullish trend line that you can see on your screen. And since the beginning of this week, price has not broken down that structure, which is giving us a clue that buyers are still very strong in this particular market. And since we have a breakout of that 1.23500 level this morning with an engulfing candle, that is a beautiful signal that we might likely be seeing a bullish momentum at this point. So you want to be doing something right now, placing your buy stop order. Since we already have a breakout of that structure, having a buy order above the 1.23500 level seems most appropriate at this point. We might likely have a situation where price could retrace back into the bullish trend line here to gather some momentum so that it can get that trend to break out of this level. So these are things that we are going to be looking at. So if you have your buy stop just right above the 1.23500 level, you should be having your stop loss somewhere around this area, which will be dovetailing between the 35 to 40 pips thereabout as a stop loss on this trade. So we continue to use this bullish trend line as our yardstick for trading activity today. So that simply means that if price action continues to trade above this bullish trend line, we shall feel comfortable in our buy position. But if price action drops below the trend line, breaking down the 1.2100 level, like I always told you since the beginning of the week, that we are not going to be getting too excited by having a sell stop order right there. We want to be patient enough to wait for further confirmations to happen, which is likely going to be coming in the form of a retest of structure selling pressure below this level on our lower time frame, giving us a clue that buyers are finding it very difficult to break out of the 1.22100 level. Then we want to be thinking of selling the GBPUSD at that point, and we have structures here that welcomes additional positions. That is, if we do have a breakdown retest of key structures like the 1.22800 level and the 1.22500 area, we shall be looking out for more opportunities to add to our sell position. So that is my view here on the GBPUSD. So we are not going to be selling unless price action breaks down, retest the bullish trend line here, which also shows a beautiful confluence with that 1.22100 level. However, a breakout of the 1.235 level, which has already happened here, is more or less a sign that we might be going bullish at this particular point in time. So we already have a buy stop order at the 1.23500 level since we had a breakout, and I'm of the opinion that the current candle here is probably going through a retracement phase in anticipation of a trend continuation to the upside. So let's see how price action plays out in the next couple of hours. And one thing about this move to the downside here, price could retrace back into structure, it could retrace back into this trend line, and if we start seeing buy pressure, when we scale down to our lower time frame and we start seeing buy pressure around that area, or probably price action transitioning into a reversal pattern like a double bottom structure, head and shoulder pattern, or a falling wedge, whatever reversal pattern that evolves, breakout retest on our lower time frame will definitely make us to join earlier than the breakout of the 1.2350 level to maximize profit. And if a breakout happens, we should be adding more position as we already have a buy stop order at the 1.235 level. So these are my views here on the GBPUSD. Quite simple setup. Let's be able to take advantage of this opportunity when it finally happens. If you have questions, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section.